Oh my goodness, guys, we had a great day in the stock market and we got to break it down in this video. We have to break down the overall market, stocks I'm looking at, what I'm looking to do in the markets in general. But before we do, hit the like button, subscribe. It really helps out the YouTube channel and I appreciate all you guys. And make sure to get your free money from Moomoo. You get up to 5 free stocks, each of which could be valued up to $3,500. Just use that link down below, deposit at least $100 and boom, you get your free money. And with that being said, let's dive into the video. So take a look, guys. The markets, like I said, we had a freaking amazing day today. We had the S&P 500. We had a very good day. S&P up 0.8%, Nasdaq up 2% at the close. We had the Russell go from being red earlier in the day, it got to break even, and then take a look. It ended up going up 0.2% on the day, and we had the Dow up about 0.3% as the VIX got whacked another 5.5%, and gold and silver, barely for silver, but gold had a green day. Gold up 0.7%. So great day out there overall. Tech stocks all across the board, guys. We're going to break down some tech stocks. They all did very well today. So let's break down the charts here and see what is going on for SPY, Triple Q. We'll talk a little bit about oil. Let's see where oil's trading at, and then we'll dive into the stocks. So let's get into it. So the inverse head and shoulders that we called out in my previous video, that is very much still alive. It's very much still intact. In fact, and that rhymed. Yes, guys, that rhymed. It has accelerated. The right shoulder has accelerated even more from when we filmed that video. So it's looking good, guys. The inverse head and shoulders is intact. Triple Q ended up breaking out of 367, which I believe I mentioned in that video, 367, 366. That was a big sticking point. We ended up breaking out of that. We closed above $369, so very nice close for Triple Q. Take a look on the intraday chart as well. We just ripped all day, guys, and just when you thought at about 1:30, 2 p.m. the market was slowing down, we ended up hitting 367 at about 2 p.m. and again we closed all the way above 369. So very big close, very big push into the close for Triple Q and for SPY, right? Both of these pretty much look the same. SPY went up 0.8%. We're noticing the inverse head and shoulders. So for me at this point in time, I'm keeping a very close eye on the 10-day chart for SPY and for Triple Q because I really want to see if this ends up taking out the highs from last week. SPY's highs were about 462. Triple Q, I think, topped at about 370, 372. So this is what I'm looking at. The smaller time frames, 5-day, 10-day chart, 20-day chart, and we're going to be seeing if this uptrend is continuing. Well, by the looks of it, based on today's trading, guys, it is continuing. So that's a quick breakdown on Triple Q, SPY, kind of what went down today. Very great day for the bulls. And let's take a look now at crude oil, which, to be honest, I didn't even look at this chart today. Let's see what it's doing. Oh my God, even crude oil went up. Look at that. Crude oil went up along with the stock market today. VIX was down, gold's up. I mean, today was a great day. It seems like everything was up, even things that you would think would be down, like gold and maybe oil today. But both of those were up. Oil went up 4.5% on the day, and if I pull up this 4-hour chart, you guys can see we are well within the wedge. We're making higher lows, also lower highs at the same time, and you're also going to notice here we're slightly under both moving averages, the 50 and the 180 SMAs here on the 4-hour chart. So if we do crack above, let's say 105, 110, which right now we're at about $103.80 a barrel on oil. If we start moving up another $3, $5, $7, this starts breaking 110, especially 115. That's where my alert is right now. If that's where crude oil starts going, bulls are really going to gain momentum. And who knows, now that we're getting this CPI data in 8 days from today, it's not this Tuesday, tomorrow. It's next Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. on the East Coast. If we get these numbers and they're very hot, who knows? Oil might move on that. Maybe oil has it priced in already. We don't know yet. So we have to be patient and see what direction oil ends up picking. And that's what I'm personally looking at with oil. So let me know any thoughts you have down below in the comments. And again, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And with that being said, let's now talk about some stocks. And like I mentioned earlier, the Nasdaq crushed it. Big tech did well. Let's talk about some big tech stocks. And we might as well start off with, the good good old big tech names, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, all those, nvidia. So let's see how these did, because these were the ones that outperformed. So we had Apple go up 2.4% on the day. Now it's clearly above both moving averages on the 4-hour chart. We're noticing a golden cross as well, which is great. And with today's close, notice how we're not quite yet out of the highs from last week. We're not, but we are breaking the highs from a couple of weeks ago, early February, January as well. Notice how in January we topped at about 176 in the middle of January, and at the end of January at about 176, and then early February at 176. Look where we closed today. We took those highs out. We went up to $178, $4 green day for Apple, and I'm telling you guys, that's good. Now, if we break the highs from last week at about 180, roughly a little bit under that, this might be flying to all-time highs, just like that, which is crazy to say, but it's reality. That's kind of what I'm seeing. So Apple's looking good. Google's looking pretty solid. It's not as close to all-time highs as Apple is, but it's getting there. I mean, look, the all-time high was 3,060. We're now at 2,870. We're about 6%, a measly 5-6% under the all-time highs. And if we take a look here on the 4-hour chart, we have no resistance in sight after the highs from last week. The highs from last week being around where we are now, 2,870, 2,880. If Google ends up cracking above 2,900, this could be flying to 3,000 all-time highs like that. That's the type of stock Google is, and it might not happen. I mean, actually, it probably won't happen in a day. It probably won't happen in a week, but over the next couple of weeks, you know, heading into that May Fed meeting, maybe if the markets just get hot, and historically, like I've mentioned, April is the best month for the stock market, Google could get there in a month. Google can get there in 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks. You know, it's definitely possible. So I'm watching Google to see if it breaks 2,900. That's a big spot. Nvidia is another one that I'm looking at, NVDA, and we will talk about AMD later in this video, so make sure you guys stick on throughout. Nvidia went up 2.4% today, and by the looks of it, the lower high may be in. Take a look at this, guys. We hit a low at about 211. That was a couple weeks ago. The recent low before the one we just hit, in my opinion, it might not be the low, but I think it could be. The one before that was in the end of March at about 253 to 255, and now we just hit another higher low at about 265, 270, and today we closed above 273, right by the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, and we also closed above the highs from the 20th, 22nd of March, which you guys can see was a big sticking point about a week ago. So Nvidia is looking good. Now all it has to do is, I'm going to adjust my alert here. I have it at 282. I'm going to bring it down to about 275. If we start breaking above 275, I think Nvidia is going to take off and potentially run towards that high from last week or the week before, whenever that was, at about 292. So Nvidia is looking good. It put a lower high in, or a higher low rather, and let's just see if it breaks out now. So Microsoft, let's see what's going on with this one. What happened today with Microsoft? This is also fiddling like Google with the highs from last week. Those highs for Microsoft were right around $315 to about $316 a share, and that's where we closed today. Microsoft went up 2% on the day. It closed right about at $315. So if we take out this high, and now that I'm looking at it, $315 was a high from the beginning of February. So if we take out this high, we're going to be trading at multi-month highs. If 315 breaks, the next spot we can go to is 324 that I'm seeing right here, followed by, who knows, maybe all the way up to the mid-330s. You know, that's where the momentum could take Microsoft if we do have a couple of good weeks and the market's here, which right now, based on today, you know, it could be setting up for that. Who knows? We don't know the future, guys, but we're just talking about what's in front of us at the end of the day. So Microsoft looks pretty good, if it's, you know, especially if it breaks 315. Meta Platforms, FB, let's see what this one's doing. What a day. I mean, this is great. This stock went up 4% on the day, and this already took the highs out from last week, unlike Microsoft and Google. Facebook's taking the highs out. This looks great. Highs from last week were 230, 231, and we just hit 233.89 at close, and now after hours, we're above $234 a share. So you guys know at this point, especially if you're in my Patreon, which if you haven't joined that yet, try it out. Now's the best time to do that, early in the month. You get all my moves, Discord access, more access to me, all that is linked right down below on Patreon. You guys know that Facebook is one that I started buying after it crashed last quarter or when they reported the last set of numbers. And I started buying it, I think, at 248, bought more at 238, bought, or maybe 236, something like that, bought more at 218. And believe it or not, I didn't buy more as it got down to the 180s. And now it snapped back so aggressively to the point where I'm back at break even on my position. I was down a decent chunk. I think my average is 230, something like that. I was down a decent chunk, and now I'm at break even. That goes to show how quick the markets move. And I think there could be more upside. Like I said, if we get more green heading into that May Fed meeting, and we probably have the CPI data already priced in. I mean, that's what I think. So if we get some nice movement into that May Fed meeting, there's no reason, in my opinion, that Facebook cannot reach, 250, 260. I think it could start making a stride, as it's still very oversold even now that it's ran up $50 a share in the past couple of weeks. I still think it's oversold. So watch out for Facebook. Amazon is another one that's trying to break out. Let's take a look here. Trying to break out of the recent highs from last week, being around 3,400, 3,410, something like that. And what we're noticing as well on top of that is Amazon's still in a downtrend. Lower highs have been made the past couple of months. You all can see that here on the 1-year chart, and this has to break. So if we break mid 3,400s, that's where I think Amazon really starts taking off. And did you guys see Tesla today? Oh my goodness. Tesla did very, very well. TSLA is the ticker for the very small minority of you out there that don't know that. I mean, guys, take a look at this. Tesla went up another 5.6% today, up over $60 a share, and it's just exploding. I mean, we took out the top of the channel, downwards channel. We did that about a week ago when we got the news of the split. Was that the same time period? I think it was, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And at that point, we broke out of the downtrend, like I said. We saw a bit of a pullback, profit taking, nothing much. And to be honest, looking at this chart, this trend really held nicely. Look at the strength of that. We pulled back barely from about 1120 to about 1060. We consolidated for a day or two. Now we're rocketing back off. We took the highs out from last week, and this could be at all-time highs for all we know in a week or two. And what did I say? I mean, did I not say this a month ago, guys, when Tesla was at $800, $900, $700 even? Tesla is one of those stocks that I would not be surprised. I said this, if it runs up to all-time highs again in a very short amount of time. And it did exactly that. I'm not saying I'm some guru. I'm just saying you have to be prepared for things that you think are crazy. Some people would be like, oh, there's no way it could go from $700 to $1,200 in 2 months. There's no way, Stas, or less than 2 months. I mean, look at what just happened, right? So you got to realize anything could happen, and today was a great day for the tech stocks. Very, very strong day. And I also want to talk about some other stocks that could be, tech-oriented in a way. We got to talk about AMD here in a little bit. So the one that I want to take a look at is Enphase, ENPH. This one up 5+% today, up about $10 a share. And with today's $10 share move, we broke out of a huge level of resistance at $212, which was a resistance point in the middle of December, right before this thing collapsed all the way to 113. So we broke out of that. We saw buying pressure out of that, and we have an overall inverse head and shoulders on Enphase. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Now that I'm going to outline it, hopefully you will be able to see it. We have the left shoulder right there, the head right here, then we got the right shoulder right here. So that's playing out, and now that we broke 212, we closed at 216. We had a 5% green day, like I said. This right shoulder is only accelerating. So at this point in time, even though we are a bit overbought, I think we could be going towards 220, 225, which is the next gap to fill, which was the high from the beginning of December. And that might not happen this week. We might consolidate now for a couple of days since we had such a nice push the past 2 weeks. So don't be surprised if we consolidate and then we start making the move back up, because overall, this is still directionally bullish. Very bullish. So watch out for Enphase. Mercado Libre is another one that I'm liking here because today it had a very nice green day, and it also took the highs out from last week, which is fantastic. look at what's going on here. I want to zoom in and go over this with you guys. Look, we broke out of 1170. That was the triple top resistance from the end of January all throughout the beginning of March, right? We topped at about 1160 once, twice, three times. We broke out of that about 2 weeks ago. We consolidated pretty much all of last week. We were a bit choppy, but it was consolidation for the most part. And then today we ended up picking direction to the upside. We broke out of last week's highs, and that's what we needed to see for this to start moving towards 1350 to 1375, which is the high point from the end of December, which is the next gap to fill, right? So this looks like it's starting to make a move towards 1350, 1375. We're currently at 1265, and it's not that overbought by any stretch of the imagination. So this could really start making a move, whether it's not today. The market's closed now, but, well, it's after hours, but I doubt anything will happen. Whether it's tomorrow, next week, this could really start moving towards that 1400 level. And if it breaks 1400, we'll take a look at it at that point. It could go up even more. So watch out for Mercado Libre. Ulta is another one that I'm looking at. If you guys don't know the ticker on this, it is ULTA. Ulta today went up 2.7%. And what I'm noticing overall on the 4-hour and on the yearly chart, the overall pattern here is it's in a wedge. We're making lower highs. Well, we hit 422, and we hit about just recently 409, 410. Now we're selling off under 400. So we're making lower highs, but at the same time, we're making higher lows. We hit 299 back in May. We hit late January rather. We hit 337, 340, 350. We're making these lower highs and higher lows, squeezing ourselves into the wedge. And what we're noticing on top of that is Ulta looks a bit more bullish than bearish. It's above the moving averages. We're now running back up on the 4-hour chart to retest the highs from last week. So if this breaks out of the highs from last week, being 407, 410, right where we hit that lower high as of now, this might be breaking out towards all-time highs, guys. Simple as that. 420, 425. Probably even higher. Typically if we start breaking the wedge, we're right by all-time highs. There's a lot of buying pressure through that all-time high. Not always, but if there's momentum, a positive catalyst, that's usually how it goes down before it starts, cooling off again. So watch out for Ulta. I like it. And the last one here is AMD, which is in a situation now where it's pretty oversold. Our size seems to have bottomed out. We're at the bottom of the uptrend as well, or rather we're holding a higher low and we're more oversold, right? Like I said. So at this point, I think AMD might be able to make a move back over the moving averages, maybe towards the top of the wedge. And just like Ulta, AMD's in a wedge. We're making higher lows, lower highs. And like I said, we just held a higher low at 105. I think we only hit 105. I thought we hit low hundreds, lower than that. But we hit 105. Now we're running up to 110 plus. Let's see if this momentum from today can continue, because again, 115, 120 is where this could be going. And if we break the wedge and we also take the highs out from the end of March, which is where I sold my swing position, thankfully I did that. If we end up breaking those highs, 125 plus, this could really start to fly. So keep your eyes on those guys. We talked about AMD, Ulta, Mercado Libre, Enphase, Apple, Google, Nvidia, Microsoft, Facebook, Amazon, Tesla. We talked about so many stocks today, and because we had a great day today. At the end of the day, it was a great day. If you're a bull in the market, we made some money today. So what do you guys think? Drop me a comment, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe, and join my Patreon if you want all my buy, sells, call outs, morning update videos, plus more. Literally everything I'm doing, guys, I post on Patreon in real time, and I make morning videos every single day. So if you guys want access to that, check the link down below or go to stocks4fast.com/Patreon and make sure to get your free money for Mumu. You get up to 5 free stocks, each of which could be valued up to $3,500. Just use that link down below, deposit at least $100, and you get your free money. It's that simple, guys. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there. Peace out.